There are two kinds of LVAD patients. Those who've been sick for a long time, and those of us who were active and healthy up until the day our hearts failed. For those who have long suffered with heart disease, the experience is mostly a positive one. They explore the risks and options, decide on the LVAD, undergo the procedure, and get on about the business of recovery. These folks are usually delighted at their newfound stamina and ability on the LVAD. Then there's the rest of us. One day we were fine, the next day we were in the hospital facing death. Among this group, the experience has a non-participatory feel, like all this is happening to you, rather than being a choice. It's like waking up in a hospital bed and going, "What the hell is this? Hey, it's hooked to my insides. What the hell did you guys do to me? Nurse! Nurse!" While chronic heart patients compare their newfound strength with the limitations they had before, we compare our newfound weakness with perfect health. Perfect health that we'll never experience again. So when your cardiologist says,
"If the heart function actually doesn't look too bad, then we will maybe push it even a little bit further to see if there's any chance for recovery." Yeah?
It cracks open the door just a bit on a kind of hope you haven't felt in a long time.
Today I'm going to the hospital for LVAD clinic. Staying healthy on a VAD can be a tricky proposition, so this is how they keep an eye on me and make sure I'm doing okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, having a left ventricular assist device definitely has been good to me. For one thing, I wouldn't be here without it. I do sometimes find myself comparing, though, how my life is today versus what it was like this time last year. The big difference is the uncertainty. Whether I was healthy or not, or whether any of us are as healthy as we think we are when nothing's going wrong, I kind of enjoyed the freedom of believing that. You get to do what you want, when you want. I needed no medication, and I had no indication whatsoever that any of that would change for a really long time. It was great. For my fiancée and I, it was a life rich with exciting new experiences, great memories, and a lot of hope for the future. From here forth, wow, life gets more complicated and uncertain. And maybe it's a small thing, but I miss being waterproof. Swimming, scuba diving, and even our outdoor hot tub were a big part of our lives together. The doctors are pretty quick to point out that I'll never be healthy again, and remaining on the VAD has risks and requires continuous monitoring. A heart transplant, although it's considered the gold standard of care for end-stage heart failure, comes with its share of problems too, along with a shortened lifespan. So there really is no perfect fix for this. And I guess I gotta be okay with that.
Oh, and it did work.
63.
102
102 over 63. That's actually pretty good. Nice. So that's nice and low. Is the chart? So what I would like to do is an ECG on him today.
Okay.
And then we wait after echo and see how it looks like, and then decide what we want to do, if you want to push them even higher. So I want to see him on Monday
Okay.
after his echo. So a few hours later then, yeah?
Okay, a couple hours after echo.
Yeah, so that we can get the result.
Okay.
So Lindsay, his blood pressure is 102 over 63. So I think that's maybe systolic diastolic, but I want to see, because before I increase it more, I want to see, he has an echo on Monday, what the heart function is doing, and if his aortic valve is opening up and everything. Okay, so ECG today, Monday clinic after we see him. Keeps the blood pressure medication like it is right now. No dizziness episode since we increased it.
No, not really. I can get up and from being in bed, and I'm stable within about 1 second to 2 seconds.
Perfect. So on Monday with the ECG and the echo, we have a little bit more ideas how your heart function is, and then we will decide if we push your heart failure medication a little bit more to see if there's any chance for recovery. Yeah.
Okay.
But right now you're on a good dose. You're already on a good dose. So that would be a perfect dose to stay on the mat to see what happens. But if the heart function actually doesn't look too bad, if there's a little bit recovery on Monday, then the ECG is okay, then we will maybe push it even a little bit further with the heart failure medication.
Okay. So with the echo, you can actually get a read on EF at that point. And
yes. So we want to see EF, and if your aorta is open, and then I want to see if I push this a little bit higher. Yeah.
Okay.
Or at the 15 some PI events, but that looks really good.
Probably because of me. I
I'm sorry.
I couldn't sleep, which means you can't sleep, which probably makes it worse.
Wow, I'm kind of in shock. The odds of healing my heart on the VAD are next to nothing, but if the doctor thinks there's a chance, that would change everything.
THONSON.
Alright, just give me a second. Okay, so you can lie down on the bed.
This is the first time my magnificent pelt has been on TV.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
For obvious reasons.
Did you want the bed higher, or is that comfortable?
No, this is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just on your legs here.
Sounds good.
So how long do ECGs take, and what's involved?
Generally, it's just a couple seconds by the time you get them hooked up. It's placement of the stickers for the most part, and then just hooking up the wires, making sure the right wires are hooked up to the. I'll get that arm down.
Sure.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it checks the electrical system of the heart, basically. So how electricity is kind of flowing through each chamber.
Perfect. I'll get you to lay down. How's your day going?
So I just need you nice and relaxed, nice and still for
Sure.
me, just for a couple seconds here, okay?
I'll just adjust the pillow a little
Sure.
bit.
Leave that.
Yeah, sure, please.
Is
Excellent.
that better?
That's
Okay,
perfect.
All right, so just nice and relaxed.
Going in for warranty service. This is great.
And you saw somebody in that clinic already?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have contacts in right now, and I shouldn't have worn them today. I really feel like I shouldn't have worn my glasses.
Does it look better than the day I went in with the in the ambulance?
We can have a look. I haven't compared it, but we can have a look. It looks pretty okay to me. We can see what took you into the hospital.
Massive heart attack.
Yeah, very sudden heart failure. Yeah.
Okay. So the last one you had, it looks it's very similar to the last one that you had, but I don't know when you were in the. There's quite a few, so.
Yeah, I would have come in on January 21st.
Oh.
22nd.
Yeah.
And the surgery was on the 28th.
Yeah, all done. You're gonna head back to the main waiting room. And your ECG's in your blue folder. Don't forget to take that with you, okay?
Yeah,
That ain't right.
much better.
Because, yeah, that ain't right.
Yeah, much better than the one that you came in with.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks good to me, so.
Well, I'm feeling better.
Good. Yeah, I could see why you weren't feeling good.
Yeah, well, I've learned since that Tums won't fix a heart attack.
Yeah. And a lot of people make that mistake. They think it's like.
Oh yeah, and when I get into the class at the Jim Pattison and we
Yeah.
start comparing notes on what symptoms we had,
Yeah.
nobody had normal heart attack symptoms.
Yeah, and sometimes it's so people think it's a muscle that's being pulled
Yeah.
and whatnot, right? So they don't.
Yeah, everybody had
anything
something
till later.
weird, or the guys were having typically female symptoms,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
and nobody really
Had what
they teach you in first aid.
Out. Yeah, exactly. It never happens the easy way, right? So,
Yeah.
All right, you guys, all done.
Get
So
here
whenever you're
sooner
ready.
then.
Are you going back to the vet, or you're all done? 'Cause
No, I think we're done
You're
for
done.
the
Okay,
day.
perfect. All right,
Great.
you guys have a good
Thank
day.
you
Okay,
so
no
much.
Thank you
problem.
very much.
Bye now.
I think I'll always remember this day. It was by far the best I've had since the heart attack. It started out with learning that I might actually be able to heal my heart. I was not expecting that. And it just kept getting better. A video I'd worked on before I got sick was nominated for Music Video of the Year. We had no expectation of winning, but we were going to the awards that night. The crazy part is, again, out of nowhere, we won. It's weird to talk about having a great day or say that this has been a good year, considering how crappy it started. But yeah, some days everything seems to go right. On Monday, I'll go for an echocardiogram to see if my heart's starting to heal. I seem to be getting stronger by the day, so I'm hopeful.
Right. Well, we've done this a few times before. Show you what's special about your heart. These
There's a fair bit of machinery that not everybody has.
That's right. Yeah, so we'll show you what's different about yours. So one thing that's different about your heart is that we won't do a blood pressure. Because you probably don't have a pulse.
I do not.
Very interesting.
It's fun to watch people try.
Yes. All right. Great. There is Larry's heart. So we look at the heart in 2 dimensions. What we see first is from the top. So the top being the top of my camera all the way to the bottom.
Okay.
So the first chamber that we'll see is the right side of the heart. So in Larry's heart, the right side of the heart pumps on its own. The left side of the heart is all underneath here. So the left side of the heart, we have a filling chamber, the left atrium. We have a valve in between the chambers called the mitral valve. And then we have the left ventricle over here. Now in the left ventricle, there is a little device in the very bottom, which is a cannula, which is what the pump motor is attached to. That is going to basically pull blood out of the bottom of this chamber, which is going to work as the pump. And it's going to move it from the pump back up. And then there's going to be another cannula placed, which we'll have to move to another angle to see it. Then there's going to be another pump up over a cannula over here that's going to put the blood back in. So that motor is what is pumping for Larry's heart. So I'll take just a few pictures. So what we look for specifically when we compare echoes from time to time is we look to see if the muscle is squeezing, especially for you. So every single time that you come in, we have a look at the size of the one chamber. We're going to have a look at the valves, each of the valves. So this one here, every time it will open and close. It should be doing that.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing, yeah. So we'll have a look at that one.
Which valve is that?
That's called the mitral valve. So I've now just set the ultrasound machine to show me how the blood is moving through that valve. So it's basically like weather Doppler. It's just showing me what's coming and going.
Okay.
So it'll be blue and red as it moves through the heart. Now this valve up above it is a little bit different. This is the aortic valve.
Yes.
Now the aortic valve in your heart is, so it doesn't move. Now that's okay. And the reason is because normally your heart muscle would be pumping blood out through that valve. In your heart, your blood is actually leaving out through that cannula and is going back in through a different area. So because of that, sometimes the muscle will squeeze enough blood that that valve will actually open a little bit. But oftentimes it will remain closed.
Okay, just because there's already back pressure there.
That's right. It's it's going through another spot.
So that's the inflow.
That's your inflow cannula. That's correct. Yeah. So that's taking the blood flow from the bottom of the heart. And so there's the flow going into it. You can see the flow moving in.
That's cool.
So there it goes. So we're just going to see how fast it's moving within there. Turn up the sound. Anything in ultrasound, when we send a signal in and a signal comes back, it's always audible to us. Okay, so that was the inflow cannula. We're going to try to see if we can get to the location of where the outflow cannula is. Usually placed somewhere along the inside the aorta. Sometimes it's up a little bit higher, but we'll see if we can find where that is. There it is. There's a little bright white area.
Okay.
I'm angling back down actually.
Yeah.
At the side, but if I can get the color flow really nice. It almost looks like it's going around because I'm kind of cutting through it at a little bit of an angle, but the flow cannula is pretty good. So that's where it's coming back in. where those two cannulas are. We're going to look at the other side of your heart, which is the right side of your heart, which will pump flow to your lungs.
It's quite a different sound.
Each valve has its own sound. So now I'm just going to turn the camera because we're only in 2 dimensions, and we'll start at the very top of the heart again. Kind of as if we're looking at a slice of bread instead of at the whole loaf.
Okay.
We'll look at the aortic valve, which is in the very middle of the screen first. This just gives us another chance to see how often the valve opens. Okay, all right. So, Larry, I think we're all done.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. It's nice seeing you. So, we'll take these all off. We're all done.
And so the results will go up to the...
Yeah, they'll go up to the whole VAD team. They'll be there later today.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thanks for the great explanation of what was going on.
No problem. Okay. We'll see you again.
So what'd you think of that?
I'm not really sure.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's not a good idea to teach yourself to read an echo from YouTube, but...
You know,
anyway.
Alana was really great at explaining what we were seeing.
Yeah, that's true. She didn't seem that concerned about the aortic valve not opening. That was something I was really hoping to see.
And I'm pretty sure your doctor wanted to see that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he did.
Your heart's gotta be improving. Like, look at what you're able to do on the bike now.
Well, I feel good, and I am way stronger, but the odds of actually healing my heart are like 1%. I already beat crazy odds to get out of ICU. I don't know how many times I can get away with that.
Just one more.
Yeah, that's all I really need.
Hello. How are you?
Good.
How are you doing?
Good.
Perfect.
Yeah, he's fine.
So, you know, the reason why I wanted to see the echo, I wanted to see, of course, like, you know, how is your functions doing, because you have the infarct. Is there anything what looks like is recovering? And unfortunately, it's not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you know, that's why we increased the rehabilitation. But if you 1 second, sorry. Oh. You see the red, that's pretty much always that it doesn't move at all, yeah. So,
Is there any potential for future recovery at this point, or is it?
you know, you never know. We will definitely keep an eye on it. But it's of course not not a good sign. I was hoping for a little bit recovery at this point, at least, that it would be a little bit moving, but unfortunately it's not. Yeah, I just looked if I see an ejection fraction, but
They haven't given a number.
they didn't give a number. Huh? Yeah. So you are
most of the improvement that's going to happen done by the 3 and 6 month mark, or is there still potential?
At this point, if it happened, it's a little bit a miracle, so don't count on it. We keep an eye on it, and then around about a year, normally what we do is, you see the transplant team, and then we talk, and then you can decide if you want to go on the list or not. The transplant, it's around about 40-50% chance for 10 years post-transplant. And you are how old are you now?
53.
Yeah, that's not so old yet. I know.
Now, if you,
it's something to talk about, but we don't need to worry about it for
let's
the
say if
time
you
being.
used up a used heart after 10 to 15 years, is there a possibility of transplanting another one at that point?
So when we say the 40, that the around about 50% survival after 10 years, this is including patients who got a second heart.
Okay.
Or the bad option. That's really the patient who are not alive anymore after this time. Yeah. So that's including. We now the big problem with over the long term with the hearts is that all the medication you take destroy also the other organ. We know today that a VAD, the patient who had already a transplant, is much more complicated. Yeah, so we also know that the second transplant is never as successful as the first one.
And there it was, all hope ripped away, as fast as it had appeared. Healing my heart was like a do-over, a second chance, to be fully human again, to shed this tangle of wires and machinery and stop worrying about my health any more than the average person. To have this past year go away like a bad dream. But it made no sense. I was feeling good. Normal even. And I'd made huge unexpected gains in rehab. I decided to visit Tina at the fitness center where I do my rehab.
Hey Tina.
Hi Larry, what can I do for you?
Question, do you keep a record of my performance here? I'm looking for what I was doing on the arm bike, the treadmill, and the regular bike, say when I started today and maybe about halfway in between, like August or something. Do you still have that stuff?
You should, yes. Let me take a look. There you go.
Thanks, Tina.
You're welcome. You've come a long way since you started.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping to get some answers about that.
Well, good luck, Larry.
Mr. Thompson.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. You know that's winter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like it to be summer. So
Yeah, because like I somehow you're dressed in summer and winter the same.
that's true.
Like no socks, no long pants. And tomorrow it's minus 25 again, yeah?
I may not dress this way tomorrow.
Okay, good. Snowstorm morning.
I'm still thinking diving.
His map is good, weight is stable, he takes around 3 liters, no edema, driveline is clean as per the patient.
Okay.
And no suction events.
No suction events, all good?
Suction events are there, but no significant suction events.
Okay, good.
Multiple, intermittent PIs, so.
Okay.
The question that's puzzling me a little bit is, I'm obviously doing really well on the VAD.
Yeah.
And, I had the guys at the Jim Pattison work out where I started, where I was at the last clinic, and where I am now. And like, for example, I'm working out at 15 on the bike, and at 5 to 6 mets, from what I understand, I'm getting close. That's not my maximum. That's what I work out at.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that's getting close to the low end of what a healthy, active, my age would work out at.
So a lot.
So I'm seeing a lot of improvement here, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
So a lot of the younger patients who are recover as well as you often move from the Jim Patterson clinic to a gym.
Okay.
That's why they maybe don't see so many, because that's in the end that's what we expect. But like I said, the reason for you is the reason why you're doing so much better than a lot of other patients are a few things. On one side, you are still quite young for us compared to another other patient. The other reason is you had a very acute event, so a lot of our patients were sick for 10 years or longer. What means like the heart function is not well, so the kidney is getting sicker, the liver is getting sicker, the lung is getting sicker, the right heart is getting sicker because you have no blood flow going through anything.
Okay.
And then of course, if they get injured for years and years and years, some stuff recovers, but not everything recovers, and some stuff we just tried that it's not getting worse anymore.
Yeah.
So all your other organs were very healthy. Yeah, you were an active person, you were diving, like every organ is healthy. Another problem what we see with a lot of patients because they're sick for so long is that the right heart is also not 100%, but we only support the left heart.
Yeah.
So the right heart is struggling, and I need a lot of medication to help the right heart a little bit, but the right heart is still sick. In your situation, because how your infarct happened, it's all the left side. So your right heart is pretty much normal. So, and the left side is now all the pump. Yeah. So I'm pumping more, like you have enough cardiac output like running a marathon. Yeah. So the pump is pumping. So the difference from you to a lot of other patients is that the only part of your body what is sick is the LV.
Okay.
And the LV we took totally over the function.
Okay.
In most of the patient, I take over the function on the LV, but I still have to help with medicine the right heart, the kidneys, and in your situation it isn't. It's all healthy.
Okay.
So that's why you do well.
Okay. So this improvement, what is actually happening here?
You work out.
That
So you were very, when you got.
So it's just purely the consequences of a month in ICU, just undoing that.
Oh yeah,
that's
for sure.
all it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Lying a month flat and doing nothing and have a major surgery and then go slowly better and better. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. So that's what I expect, that you get better and better, of course, up to the level. Depends how much you work out, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised about it. Yeah,
okay.
And this 4-6 weeks, and you were sick. You cannot remember most of the thing, but you were.
I'm starting to understand that.
You were pretty much dead. Like there was not. If it wouldn't have happened in Edmonton, like in a big or in Calgary, close to a big center, you most likely would not have survived.
Absolutely.
It, And then like being 4-6 weeks on ICU, having a major surgery, and you had 2 in the end. Because you had first a central mag, and then that will, like, even patients who did just a CABG, like bypass surgery, who were really good, they often say if they're looking back, they needed at least a year after the surgery to recover, and they just got a CABG and they didn't have a giant infarct and VADs and everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, I have to go to the next one.
So, bottom line, I tried to heal my heart, and I failed.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained. All that is anchored, it still remains. Drifting balance.
Are you okay?
I don't know. I don't get it. I didn't do anything wrong. I lived a healthier life than my parents, and my friends, and most of my coworkers. None of them had their hearts self-destruct this young. Everyone else still gets to go swimming. They can travel more than a few hours from a hospital with a VAD program. Passage of time isn't measured by which fucking meds they need to take next.
Everyone else I know can still expect a normal lifespan.
It's not fair. I've lost too much.
You still have me.
As a ghost, what doesn't destroy us draws us close.
In that place between life and death, between coma and consciousness, patients can experience what's called an NDE, or near-death experience. Whether these are a glimpse beyond our realm, or simply a hallucination, patients awaken with memories that occurred while they were unconscious. Some see God. Others see themselves leaving this world. I had the opposite experience. I watched the death of the planet. I looked down on the barren, rocky, lifeless Earth and realized that I was the only living thing left. It was the loneliest feeling I've ever experienced. Watching yourself leave this world at least offers hope for what you've left behind. You're gone, but friends, family, and strangers, trees, birds, and bugs go on to see another day and a future of hope and possibility. Looking down on a barren earth as the last being to exist was a devastating feeling of solitude and emptiness. It took months for me to make sense of it, but I think I get it now. We're all part of something bigger. It's about those who are important in your life and your connection to them. Without them, there's nothing. With them by your side, even the biggest of challenges become just a detail.